In a world where change is the only constant, Mo Shamil stands at the forefront, guiding title professionals to not just grow their businesses, but to master the art of innovation. With every episode, you're handed the keys to unlock unparalleled growth and stay ahead of the curve. Get ready for a transformative journey.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Title Agents Podcast. I am very thrilled to have my good friend here, Pat Carney. Welcome, Pat.
Thanks. Glad to be here. Looking forward to chatting.
Yeah. Before we get started, let me read a brief bio to give you all listeners a little background on Pat. Pat Carney is the dynamic president of Viking Sasquatch, has revolutionized the title and fintech industries with his innovative software solutions, with a focus on seamless integrations and cutting-edge APIs. Pat and his team have developed a cult-like following among industry professionals. I'm one of them. Pat's extensive experience includes leadership roles at Agents National Title, Closing Corp, and Require, where he drove technological advancements and strategic growth. His entrepreneurial background, having owned 4 successful title agencies across multiple states, gives him a unique perspective on the challenges faced by the industry. As a thought leader in the software development, has positioned Viking Sasquatch at the forefront of the title and fintech spaces, delivering exceptional results and forging lasting partnerships with clients seeking tailored, innovative solutions. Welcome, Pat.
Thank you so much.
Before we start and dive into questions, I would love to hear your story, your background, how you get started in the title industry, where you grew up, education, work, all that fun stuff. Want to know more?
All right, I'll give you this. I'll give you the story. It's kind of a crazy story, so I'll try not to give all of the pieces, but I'll at least kind of run through how I got here. So when I got out of the service, I went to work for my mom. She owned a Remax franchise. So I ended up kind of
where did you serve?
I was in the Navy. So I was stationed in Bahrain, Coronado, and Scotland. So
thank you for your service.
Thank you. So I got started in real estate because my mom owned a Remax franchise. So I came on to work with her when I got out of the service, ended up running that office for her. And then I started having kids. So I decided that I needed a little bit more normal of a job. So I went to work for an ad agency. After I worked at an ad agency marketing firm, I started my own, specializing in the real estate space. So my clients were title agents, real estate brokerages, mortgage brokerages, builders. And that's where, so I built that up. And then one of my clients, which was one of the largest title agents in Ohio, brought me on to run their marketing. And then I took over their tech and helped turn them into a showcase for Stewart. Stewart at the time had showcase offices. It became the 29th showcase office for Stewart. Stewart then moved me to the regional headquarters in Virginia Beach, where I turned that into a showcase. And then I ended up kind of doing a pretty unique role. I was basically a performance consultant. I would go around and fix title agents for Stewart. So I would go in and I would help them with not only their brand, but I would help them with their software selection, their workflow, all the way and really help them selecting what vendors to use that made sense for their particular product. So I would just go around and was a performance consultant helping their title agents do things in a better fashion. Then I started my own title company in Virginia Beach, and then I opened another one in Chesapeake, Virginia, and then one more. So I had 3 of them in that greater Virginia Beach, Norfolk, the Tidewater region.
What time frame?
Then I opened time frame. This was 2004-ish, I believe. Maybe it was 2007. They all kind of run together for me. Right when you shouldn't be starting title companies. Yeah,
you've been doing this for so long. It's a blur.
Yeah, it's a blur. It's just a blur. So then I started one in Cincinnati. I merged that one with another company, and then I kind of went back into doing consulting. So, and then I went to work to develop new products for Require. I became their chief strategy officer. I left for a period, and then I came back to run that company for a while and get it, right. And then I did that, and then from there I went to be the chief innovation officer for Closing Corp. And then I was the chief technology officer for Agents National Title. And then I started Viking Sasquatch after that. So there's a bunch of companies being bought and sold within that journey. Companies I was working for kept getting bought, and finally I decided after Agents National got bought by a Blackstone company, I decided it was time to start Viking Sasquatch and just make cool things with people I like.
Okay. Couple of questions. I know I asked you this before. How did you come up with the name Viking Sasquatch? And the second question is, what does Viking Sasquatch do exactly?
Sure.
It's a catchy name.
The origin story of Viking Sasquatch involves a conference and some people that are all executives at this point in time. They weren't executives at that point in time, staying out a little bit too late. We all had morning meetings, breakfast meetings. I don't think any of us went to sleep that night. And after our morning meetings, we were kind of sitting in not feeling very good. One of the guys looks over and he goes, "Look at that freaking Viking Sasquatch. He's not even hurting." And from there, the name Viking Sasquatch. So I owned it. I kind of looked like a Viking Sasquatch. So I was like, let's do it. So if you're going to be a software company, why not have a unique name that it doesn't really matter. So nobody that wanted something that was unique and catchy and represented kind of what we do, got a bunch of taglines, but fiercely developing the elusive solutions you need is one of them. So you kind of get both.
So what do you guys do exactly?
So we do three things. So we do custom dev, really kind of trying to specialize around integrations and APIs. We do a lot of that for folks.
Clarifying question. What does integration with API mean?
So an integration is connecting different businesses together through technology. API stands for Application Programming Interface. So it's just how different applications connect. And that's, I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but I am an API evangelist. It's an API economy. It's what the world should run on. Our industry is a little bit farther behind. So we do the custom work. We do some virtual consulting work, whether it's CTO or COO. I've got another consultant that works with me that does the COO side of things. And then we build our own products. So we've got 4 products. One of them's rolling out next week. So we can talk a little bit about that if you want to. But
absolutely.
So we're rolling out the products that solve pain points. And that's really what we're known for. Whenever somebody has a problem and wants to figure out how to do things better, they call me, because if we can't do it, I got a guy for anything. So
Viking Sasquatch has really transformed the way title companies use technology. Could you share how you should balance respecting the traditions of the title industry while pushing forward with innovation?
So the title industry is really different than any other industry, as far as I know, because it's this experience-based industry that is, and it's not black and white, it's grayscale. So every state does things a little bit. So there's all of these intricacies that are really powered by experience. So you have to keep the experience, but then you have to figure out how to do things better, faster, more accurately, with less people, especially with all the pressure that the industry is putting in place. So it's finding that balance between experience and technology to create the innovation that's needed to survive in today's market.
Awesome. As technology continues to advance, what are some core aspects of the industry that you think should remain untouched?
I think I, I would say that really what we're doing shouldn't be lost with technology, which is helping people achieve the American dream of owning a home. That can get lost sometimes if it becomes tech and you kind of lose that human touch. But tech should be used to enhance the process and the experience, not replace it. So I think the most important thing for me is remembering what we're doing and why we're doing it, and then figuring out how to do it better with technology.
With all the changes happening, how can title companies best adapt their operations to include AI, bots, and other digital tools? And this is your domain.
Yeah, this is so I speak a lot on AI right now, and there's a study that was put out by Gartner. So Gartner is, they do all of the research and they provide all of the latest facts and information about all of the leading technologies. It's the Gartner Group. It's a very expensive organization to be part of. Only really Fortune 500 companies can afford to be in it. I mean, if you want to use them, it's going to cost you like $1 million a year consultancy just to be able to use them. But they put out different items. One of the items that they put out is the Gartner AI hype cycle. And did you want me to try to pull that up and share that, or
please share your screen?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Should have had it pulled up for you. So these are where I was talking about all of the different types of AI and where they are and in the cycle. Right now, generative AI is right at the peak. This is where everybody's talking about. Everybody's trying to figure out how to do work with it. Thousands and thousands of startups that are trying to find different things about it. I kind of live down here in this trough of disillusionment. We've been working on it. I've got, 4 people that all they do are work on AI related projects and how to implement them into our products and improve what we do. AI is very hard to operationalize. It's very easy to play with and experiment with. But to operationalize it, dealing with all of the items like hallucinations and security and everything that we deal with when we're working on these large financial transactions, you have to be very careful. There are lots of things that it can do, but I'm still down here is like, this is really hard to turn into something that you can use it absolutely for different parts of it. Now, there are folks in our space that are coming out of this trough and they productized it and are able to start providing value for folks. But I still think that we've got a long way before we come through this till we get to where it's really providing value in the title space. Right now, it's definitely bleeding edge. It'll get cutting edge here in another 12 months, and it'll really start providing value for the title space in 3 to 5 years. But this is a very interesting thing.
Where do you see the most impact, like in our workflows?
So I think machine learning is the one that's probably going to provide the biggest bang, the quickest. I also think that I'm going to stop sharing, but this is easily just do a Google search and you'll be able to find this if you want to look at it. And I sent it to you so you have it if somebody asks you for it.
Thank you.
So I think what you'll find is, besides machine learning, which is really data collection and data extraction, is really what machine learning is good for. I think you can use it for customer service. Absolutely. I think that will help as well. I think you'll see it in marketing.
Can you give us like a real life scenario kind of? So we have a very wide audience, some techies, some and don't know much about technology. So we take the mystery out of talking AI and talking bots. Like, what does that mean? Solving that customer experience or enhancing it.
So on the customer side, it can be used to communicate with your clients and pull information and provide them with information without a human really being involved. So if you want to know,
Status
specifics or fees or status on a file, you'll be able to ask, an AI powered bot that'll be able to collect that information and communicate with them in natural language. So that's going to be customer service. It's really going to take away a lot of those, calls where they're just asking basic questions.
And email
on them. And emails on the machine.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. On the machine learning side, it's like taking data out of a title examination or a sales contract for creating orders, or pulling data off of, can be just about anything. But it just takes a long time to teach it so that it's accurate. So when you're dealing with what we're dealing with, you really are it needs to be accurate and fine-tuned to a point where you can trust it and rely on it. So it's not creating claims while minimizing work, but creating claims is not a good ratio.
Well, how about automation? I see like a big value in automating tasks. Like one of the biggest challenges with our industry is cyclicality, and also it's extremely difficult to find talent. So probably automation is going to be very crucial to take those mundane, repetitive tasks away from human beings and let humans focus on more the customer experience, talking to clients versus doing those repetitive kind of mundane tasks.
Yeah, I'm very passionate. Right? Yeah, I'm very passionate about this piece. This is it's how you can do this. I think there's probably three things, and that all kind of work together on this. So really, it comes down to utilizing the automation that's part of the title production software already. Most people aren't fully utilizing the tools that they're already paying for. Then using that in conjunction, first and foremost, there should be an API. So an API, again, is you're connecting into different systems to pull that data out. The problem is that there aren't a lot of great APIs in the title space or the lending space or the real estate space. So it makes it pretty challenging. So if there is an API, you use an API to pull that data, it should work very good. Now, a lot of the one thing we really need to continue to improve the APIs that we have in our title production software. I talk to them regularly on how to do that. I'm like, just give me the APIs, focus on your core stuff, and then it lets me really create unique solutions for your clients. But I need better APIs to do that. When I don't have APIs, I'd have to do RPA. RPA is robotic process automation, or bots. So basically, what bots are, it's software that mimic actions of a human. So whether it's logging into a website, whether it's going into or doing a search, or logging into a portal. Are you able to show us
an example? I would love to give our audience kind of a real life example. And you and I know exactly what we're talking about, but a lot of people have no idea. I would love to kind of give them that visual to see how impressive and how amazing these bots are, kind of pulling data from public records and all. You can maximize.
I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Yeah, I can see it.
So this is
maximize it. Be awesome.
Let me make it bigger. Sorry.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right. So this is an example of a bot that logs on to a state website to do lien searches. So
there is a little blue screen to the left blocking the whole video.
Yeah, it'll go away when I start it. Okay. It's just kind of the.
So what does this bot
way
do?
That it's. Yeah. So this bot logs into a state lien site, and it searches for the homeowner's name, and then it collects whatever it finds, and then it will encrypt it and then push it back into the title production software. So the title production software trigger, it has an action that triggers it. So it reaches out and it talks to this bot, and then the bot will go and do all of these things. So it happens really quickly, and you can actually the part on the right side is the actual code that's doing it. And then on the left side is just kind of clicking through what the process is. So I'll just go ahead and click it and we'll see what it looks like. So it's logging into the site. It's selecting the product that it needs to use, which is the advanced search. So it's putting in an address and it's putting in the name and it's searching for all of the data. Those are the results that we got back. Now we're encrypting it. So it took a screenshot of that page. Now it's encrypting that data. And then it'll send it just that quick. So it did that quick. So this bot could go, it literally will go over and over. It just goes. So, if it's doing that 100, let's say that it's doing it 500 times a day. So that's one person can't do that. It can do that. The one person could probably do it, 100 times a day.
So
and then if you get
bots, what's the limits or capabilities? I guess this is any open web platform that's public, I guess, can have access to with the login.
Yeah. So there's different tools you use for different scenarios. So if it's a web-based solution, we just use an open source tool for it. If it's something where it's in a like a hosted environment on AVD, which is Azure Virtual Desktop, where you have to log in to a site and to then use tools. So we use a different tool. We'll use Power Automate for that. So just depends on the scenario. If we're just dealing with the web-based, we use one tool. If we have to do things within Microsoft and log into a server-based type TPS, not a web-based type TPS, we have to use a different tool. So like a Qualia, it's web-based. We just use a normal bot. We do that all the time. If it's something that's inside somebody's cloud and we're having to log in through Azure to do that, then we use a different tool that's actually in that environment. So sometimes we have to use a combination of both. So it really just depends upon the scenario. Unfortunately, bots are more custom in nature. The core functionality we can reuse, but everybody in title uses their software differently. So it requires some custom work on all of them. So say if I wanted to make this particular bot work for somebody else, it's probably 80% there. I just have to do that 20% customizing that'll work for their workflow. So not only is it the way they have their bot set up in their environment, it's their workflow is different. Title agents all have different workflows.
So how do we, you're touching on one of the inefficiencies like in the title space, like there's a lot of fragmentation, there's a lot of different systems, and all the title production software companies, they're all kind of competitors. They don't play nice with each other. They don't play nice with developers like you. So what kind of advice do you give to, like, is there like a best practices as far as how to use workflows or systems? We're big on systems and processes. Like, it's the best way to be efficient and automation. But what advice do you give like a company owners and managers?
So I think everybody does things a little bit differently. I wish that there was a magic wand that says, okay, you're doing business in this state, but then that person does commercial, that person does REO. They have all these different workflows. So some of our clients are super advanced and have it all dialed in, and then some of them are pretty basic, and we make a lot of recommendations when working with them on how to kind of improve their processes. But even the super advanced ones, sometimes they go too advanced. So there's just finding that fine line. I know when I had my own title agency, I went too advanced. So I had to pull it back because it was very hard to maintain. You can do lots of things and make things super custom, and then it's very hard to maintain. So there's a balance that you try to do between creating really advanced workflows and being able to maintain them. Because if you create a super advanced workflow and you lose that resource because only a couple people are going to know how to maintain it, you're really in a rough spot. So there's a fine balance in complexity and efficiency.
So what advice do you give to title professionals that are maybe a little behind adopting technology? Is the way I tell people, automation and technology and AI, it's here, it's forever. It's either adopted or you're going to be left behind. So what's the best advice you give title professionals? Like what's kind of baby steps? Like if you're a little too far behind, how can you get your feet wet and gradually adopt some easy to use technology?
Yeah, so it's definitely with tech, it should be crawl, walk, run. So first off, figure out what you need, figure out what your weaknesses are, document, and then start looking at them and figuring out how and where you can improve and start looking for tech. There's a whole nother, we could do a whole nother podcast on how you evaluate tech and software to make sure it is what it is. Because there's a lot of vapor out there.
Near future, would love to have you back.
Yeah, so there's a lot of vapor out there. There's a lot of people that are just saying that, we've got AI this, AI that, and it's not real or it's not proven. So my advice would be to focus on getting the most out of the software that you have, make sure that you have the right software, then get the most out of it, and then start looking at those things that are common tasks that are repeatable, that you have to do the same thing on every time. And then figure out how to use the automation components of your software coupled with RPA. If there's no API, always try to do API first because that's going to be quicker, cleaner, and more reliable. And if not, then you go to an RPA solution. You do the RPA and then you dip your toes into AI. There's going to be people that are going to start bringing products. There's already a few of them that you'll see at all the shows, but there's going to be more and more products that are going to become that are going to be more AI powered. I think you'll start to see the underwriters coming out with AI tools. There's products out there like Fluid for how to do searches in a really automated fashion that's hitting multiple data sources. So there are tools out there for that, but just kind of work your way through and do it in kind of baby steps. But you should be spending time every day looking at it and becoming more familiar with AI. Not everybody, but you should have a resource on your team that's doing that and trying to make sure, because it's going to be everywhere you look. And it's very easy to experiment. It's very hard to operationalize.
That's awesome. I know you mentioned earlier some products you're coming up next week. Is that something you can share or give us a little behind the scenes look, or maybe even just a hint, or that?
Yeah, so we've been building a product for a couple years, and it's a fee and pricing engine, and there are calculators, which are what title agents are going to use for their consumers, but it's so much more than that. This is very robust. It's all designed on APIs. It's everything that we use is powered by composable APIs with a three-tiered architecture designed to be able to be custom without being custom, and creating experiences that solve and create unique selling propositions for our clients. So it's designed for people that are multi-state, multi-underwriter, multi-logo, high complexity on their pricing capabilities, and then being able to deliver those to your clients. So what you'll see are going to be, there are 9 different apps that you can use for different things, and then we've got a lot more features and functionality coming. But we've got people that have been using it, but now we're letting the rest of the world in on it. So
awesome!
We're launching that next week at MS3.
I can't wait to take a look. All right, we're getting very close here to the end of our podcast, and we get a little personal here. Do you have a favorite quote that influenced your approach to technology and business, and how it took your journey, or just what's your favorite quote?
Well, I've got a couple of them that I use. There's one by Steve Jobs that's really good, which is innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. So, it's I don't know if following is going to cut it in the title space. So if you're not innovating, I think it's going to be very tough to be relevant. Another one that is also is one by Albert Einstein, which is doing insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So that is I've used that one a ton when I'm consulting in the title space, because you want to make a change, but you're not willing to change your process. It's impossible to get a different result. If you only have the same ingredients, how are you going to be able to bake something different? So you have to change the ingredients up to get a different result.
Absolutely. And I truly believe with all the advancement in technology, if you don't adapt, you will become obsolete. And I think lenders will force type of companies, if you don't have certain standards in technology and security, then they're not going to let you do closings for them. So really force people to adapt. So it's better to get your feet wet slowly and talk to people like you or myself and how we can help them versus really becoming obsolete and left behind.
Completely agree.
Awesome. What about a favorite book you read recently?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Jason Fried. So Jason Fried owns a tech company called 37 Signals that built Basecamp, which is kind of like Slack or Teams. They were like the first one of those.
A few years ago.
Yeah. So he's got a series of books that he's come out with. And I really kind of used it to design my company, which is completely remote. So we have about 35 people, and we have people all around the world. Very similar to kind of his design. So it's not about where you are. It's about if you're a talented rock star, I don't care where you're at. So we designed the company to be a remote company, but his latest book is called "It Doesn't Have to Be Crazy at Work." I'm a bit of a workaholic, and he's showing me the errors in my ways of, there's lots of things that you can do to kind of improve the way you work and how you work with your team and work. There were definitely some good nuggets in that particular book, but overall, I like it. They've never taken an ounce of money from anybody, and it's empowered them to kind of do things the way they want to do them. And I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah, I'm a big Jason fan as well. He's definitely a thought leader and innovator. So,
if you want a second book, I'll give you one more book, which is James Clear, Atomic Habits.
That one is
that's another great one. I'm really big into creating systems and processes, and that one just is a big reinforcement on doing that to be able to do more with less.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Any final thoughts or to our audience, all title agents and professionals in the industry?
I think we, cautiously go all in on technology, but do it cautiously. Crawl, walk, run. Only way to get there.
Well, thank you so much. I could not be thankful or grateful enough for your time and for your wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
In a world where change is the only constant, Mose Jamil stands at the forefront, guiding title professionals to not just grow their businesses, but to master the art of innovation. With every episode, you're handed the keys to unlock unparalleled growth and stay ahead of the curve. Get ready for a transformative journey